And there was a time when I felt that that we weren't really uh, on the same wavelength. You know, I think the divorce affected him very deeply and changed his thinking about things, and so and it took a while for him to grow out of that and to accept what happened, and um, but we are now on real fine terms, and um, I call him up for information about how to do something, because he's way ahead of me in certain areas like digital photography, that sort of thing. My son, Conrad Winchester, where we have the same name, but I didn't want a junior, so I named him Conrad Winchester. I'm Conrad Lafcadio, and Wynn is Conrad Winchester. Anyway, he came with us on Smile, and had a wonderful time, and we lived together, got to know each other, and he saw the joy that I that involves me when I'm telling the story with the camera, and so this must have had some effect on him, because eventually he went to film school at UCLA, and then when he graduated, he started working with me as an assistant cameraman. And throughout the years, he worked with others too, and moved up to camera operator. And he was a wonderful camera operator. And now he's a director of photography, doing astounding work. And it's a thrill for me to see, because I didn't push him into it at all. He saw the joy with which film work brought me, and thought that was probably a pretty good thing to go into, and now he's a great cinematographer himself, doing wonderful work. Panic Room was his last film, so it's a joy for a dad to see somebody come into his footsteps, and so astoundingly well. One time after Panic Room came out, which is the film that Conrad Winchester shot, I got a call from Irving Kershner, a classmate of mine from USC Film School back in the 40s, late 40s. And he said, "Conrad, that's the best low-key cinematography I've ever seen in my life. Congratulations." And I said, "Wait a minute now. You've got to look at the middle initial. It's Conrad W Hall, not Conrad L Hall." And but it was such a thrill to hear from a classmate of mine, a wonderful director, commenting on my son's work. Proud papa here.
I know a lot of us sons, especially, that have fairly famous dads and talented fathers. We want that praise from them. We want to know that what we're doing, counts. And a lot of times my dad couldn't articulate that to me, but other people could. Being sons of famous fathers like we are, a lot of times you want that praise, and you want the attention, that only really your dad can give you. And in the case of my dad, he had a hard time showing, that praise in the beginning. And by getting a lot of phone calls from other people, for work, from me, for me and stuff, I think it really made him understand that, my gosh, my son is really, doing it. It's really happening, and so forth. And he would ask questions about, well, how is he doing, and so forth, and around the industry. And I think by by really finding out through other people that my career was working, that things weren't being taken off, I really believe he understood that I was serious about this, and it just opened up the floodgates for for the praise and the support emotionally that I was looking for him. And so sometimes having having the same names and stuff has been a real blessing. And obviously the comparisons notwithstanding and stuff, people now are beginning to recognize that I can do certain things, and because they recognize that, I think my dad now recognizes it, and my gosh, I can't think of anybody out there that is more proud of the work that I've been doing and who I've become in terms of a professional than my dad in his career. The defining moment, though, in terms of me following my dad's interest was when I was 15. And my family on my mom's side lives in the Central California area in Stockton, and he was doing a picture in Santa Rosa. And he said, how about coming over with me and spending the summer and working on this film? And I'm like, okay. I mean, the idea of working on the film really wasn't of interest to me. The idea of spending 6 weeks with my dad was the interesting part. But the film happened to be about a beauty pageant. Of course, I was 15, just about to turn 16 at that time, and all the girls in the movie were about that age as well, 15 to 18. And I got paid, I think, out of my dad's pocket about $1.50 an hour. But I thought to myself, well, no wonder you guys like this. I had about 4 girlfriends at the time. And at that point, I thought this would be a very cool thing to do. But it wasn't like my dad always had us around the set, and anytime that he could invite us down, we would jump at it. Really, that wasn't the case at all. So, and I don't know whether Haskell ever invited you guys down, but it was kind of a separate deal for him, so forth. And the bottom line, the real honest to goodness truth is I got involved in the film industry and to be a cinematographer to spend more time with my dad. It seems like, the silliest of reasons, economically to set the course of your entire life. But, I don't have any reservations about saying really the only reason that I got, involved in the film industry was just to spend more time with my father. Working with my dad on his crew in the industry was the greatest decision I think I ever made, with the exception of marrying my wife. Because everything that I wanted to know about my father, to love about my father, came true when we worked together. He was the person that I never knew, at home. And it's strange because I don't know, it's hard to describe, but I don't know whether my dad ever felt really, really comfortable wearing the suit of a father and a husband. But as a regular guy on a movie set, I don't think that there is a more fun, more entertaining, more nurturing person that I've ever worked with in my life than my father. It was the best experience that I've ever had, really, in any working situation, is working with my father. He's the easiest guy. He's kind of like a dad on the set for everybody, not just the camera people, but just about everybody. He keeps things lively. He has a tremendous sense of humor. And the funny thing is we never saw that at home. So it totally brought us closer together, both, professionally, because I was nothing but a sponge on the set. As long as I was going to do this cinematography thing, I might as well learn from one of the best. And so I was a sponge, and he was a very collaborative person to work with. So he'd often have me read the meter and, say, what's the stop going to be? And here I am working on a, $30 million movie. And this entire day is going to be, and I kept thinking, this entire day is going to be either made or ruined by what stop I come up with. But that was my dad. My dad was like, here, you be a part of this whole thing. I don't want to sit here and, you just do your job and stuff. No, I want you to be part of my job. I want you to, be, a hands-on kind of person. So I loved working with my dad on the set because he was, he sort of became everything that I had hoped he, would become to me. And that was a nurturing, and loving kind of person. And I know a lot of fathers and sons, or mothers and daughters in the industry don't really get along very well. It becomes like super, there's unrealistic expectations, or criticism, and everything that somebody would do. It just became a source of of hostility or friction or whatever. On the contrary, the more that I work with my father, the more proud of him. The more proud of me he was, and it was a way for me to kind of like get the praise and the brownie points that I was always hoping to get.